what does your profitability look like for this type of case versus this type of case? Because if you're bringing in too many of the wrong type of cases, your firm is going to run into cash flow problems. So you want to be able to understand and analyze that and make some smart decisions in that area. So recently we did a live feed on Facebook, YouTube, and probably some other platform, but we talked about the issue of why law firms have cash flow problems. And I wanted to revisit that, not to rehash the entire conversation, but just to go back and touch on a really quick point. Now, this one today is for firms that are using hourly billing. And so one of the things that I wanted to revisit was we put up a list of the problems, like, common problems. So let me make this a little bit bigger. So here are some common problems of why firms that use hourly billing run into cash flow problems. Now, the reason why I bring this back up is because it's one thing to know, okay, here are some of the problems, but then, being able to identify, well, what are some potential solutions? Now, for the first two, they're going to be systems and processes. Like, you need some procedures in place. And, the next one is, a little bit of processes, and you need some analysis. And so I realized that when I shared this, what some people are probably trying to figure out, okay, all right, how do I really break this down? So what we decided to do is add this to the slide so people can understand not only what the problem is, not only what the solution is, but also, like, what type of support do you need? Because when it comes down to things like, hey, this is a systems problem, maybe a good business coach can really help you figure that piece out. That's probably not going to be your accountant that helps you solve that problem. Then when it comes down to, the staffing and the poor reporting, that is a combination of data analytics and, working with a good coach who can help you lay out what are some good tracking tools. Like, a lot of people are using EOS, or what is something that you can use to kind of analyze the productivity. Plus, you also want to be able to put some processes in place to actually make it better, because you don't want to just track the numbers and do nothing. You want to track the numbers and then take some action steps to something that could be better. When it comes down to, your billable rate, I mean, this is a lot of times what I find, this is a sales and marketing problem, whether it's, maybe you need to adjust the way you approach your, how you position your firm. Maybe you position your firm as a low priced firm or as a budget friendly firm. Maybe you need to revisit that. And that's going to be probably with someone in sales and marketing. Your accountant is not going to help you with that. Or let me say, your accountant is probably not the best person to help you with that. Then when you get into looking at, the low employee ROI, what I talked about there is, a lot of times when people are hiring different staff members, they don't know what targets to really give them, or they don't know what salaries make sense compared to the revenue that that person will generate. So you really want to do something like some type of employee ROI calculator so you understand that. Now, that is going to be a financial data analytics. If you have a really good forward thinking or entrepreneurial minded, finance person, maybe they can help you with that. And as I said, when I did the full live, I think the team over at with Kristen David at Uplevel Your Business, they have a great employee ROI calculator. I know it's great because I helped build it. Then the other thing is, when it comes down to, your caseload pipeline, this becomes a very, very big problem for a lot of firms, because what ends up happening is sometimes you're so focused on just making sure you win enough cases, you're bringing in a ton of work. But oftentimes when you're doing that, no one stops to ask themselves this very important question: is this the type of work that we need? Or do we have the right mixture of work? Now, this requires you to do a little bit of understanding and digging to know what are your SKUs, like what does your profitability look like for this type of case versus this type of case? Because if you're bringing in too many of the wrong type of cases, your firm is going to run into cash flow problems. So you want to be able to understand and analyze that and make some smart decisions in that area. And then the last one, when it comes down to no cash flow forecast planning. Now, this is a financial planning and analysis issue. Now, your accountant or your finance person would be a great person to help you figure that out. So as I said, you have a list of what common problems are that lead to cash flow problems for law firms. Then you have some ideas on solutions, and you have the type of people who can help you navigate those type of solutions. Like I said, my background is accounting and finance, and I'll be the first to admit an accounting and a finance person is not the right person to help you solve all of these problems. Because if you're going to solve the problem of cash flow in your firm, you need to make sure that you're pulling in the right type of support to help you solve those problems.